Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Strapi community call in July, which is amazing. It's been a while. We do these quarterly. Maybe we should do these more often. Let us know, but I'm excited for this one. We have a lot of great stuff that we want to talk about. But everybody say hello in the chat. Let me know where you are all coming from. Let me know how's your summer doing. We're in July. Hopefully everybody's making time to spend with their families. I just hung out with my daughter. It was like really amazing. And yeah, see a lot of folks in the chat. Super excited. We have a lot to talk about and it's going to be pretty amazing. I'm pretty excited to go through all the different things. Oh my goodness, so many folks joining, jumping in. Man, wherever you are, let us know how the weather is. Oh my goodness, we have, yes, a lot of people. So while everybody's saying hello and giving their introductions, I'm gonna quickly review the agenda. Not gonna move too quickly, just because I want to see all the hellos in the chat. By the way, let me know, is the sound working? Can you see my slides? Does everything look good? Awesome. Okay, cool. So many folks, so awesome. So let's talk about what we have on the agenda. We're going to talk about quickly about Strapi Conf. Amazing event. Really cool. I'm going to talk about conditional fields and showcase the AI architect, which is really awesome. And I'm going to go through my sections fairly quickly because we actually have a lot of cool guests that are going to share some of the things that they're doing. We're going to have Jonathan share the page builder that he built, and then we're going to have Kevin and Xander jump on the stage to talk about Headlocker. I'm very excited, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's first talk about Strapi Conf 2025. I think that was the best event I ever been on. It was so much fun, and huge congratulations to everybody on the team. If you were not able to make it, oh my goodness, maybe next time, but you will be able to catch up all the talks that you have missed on our YouTube channel. I'll share the link in a little bit, but the event was amazing. It was a full room, so many huge people, everything was just amazing. I was so excited. I'm speechless now just looking at the slides, like the pictures here and the amount of people that showed up. We did so many talks on the main stage. We had community talks, so many cool presentations. We had awesome workshops, and you can find all of that stuff on our YouTube channel. We have a playlist you could find. I'll put the link in the chat in just a second. Oh, I was going to copy and paste the link real quickly for you. I know, very professional. I'm coming back from a vacation, so a little bit rusty on the streaming side of things, but I'm going to post this in the chat so you all could, someone beat me to it. Man, thank you, Theo. You're the best. I'm always feel supported by the whole Strapi team when I do the streams because I know they're in the chat. Hang out. Where should we do the next Strapi Conf? That is an amazing question, Pierre. Let us know some suggestions in the chat. It will be really amazing. Amsterdam. There you go. Nice. So we're going to jump in. I'm going to do some quick presentations because I do want to make sure that we talk about with our guests. We have a lot of cool stuff here. And first off, we're going to start with conditional fields. I'm really excited for this feature, which conditional fields allow you to do. They allow you to control the visibility of your fields. And I love Strapi. I build projects with Strapi all the time. I'm actually working on a project right now for my personal website. And I'm actually was so excited that conditional fields came out because literally exactly what I needed. And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show this little example that I'm doing in my project. And there's so many other ways you could use this. But in my project, I started with 3 collection types. I had questions, answers, and comments. And when you take a look at this quickly, you realize that I actually have a bunch of repeating like information, right? I have user, content, upvotes, downvotes, and reference ID. And then there's slight variations between questions, answer, and comments. And so I was like, maybe instead of having 3 different collection types, wouldn't it be nice if I could condense everything together and then use conditional fields to show the data conditionally? And that's kind of exactly what I did. So I took my question, answer, and comments and basically created a content collection type, not having to deal with questions, answers, and comments, and instead have everything in that collection. But for the user, I want them to only see the appropriate content if they select a question, answer, or a comment. So I made some of the fields conditional fields. And based on a condition, they're able to see the UI exactly on the type of content they selected. So here in my Strapi application, I went ahead and created a enum type, and I literally gave 3 options: question, answer, and comment. And then what I did, for every field that I want to be conditional, I went ahead in the advanced settings. You're able to select your condition and apply it to whatever. Like here, I'm doing the enum type, and I'm saying if it's a question, show the title, because the questions have the title. And I did a similar approach to all the other items that I wanted to be displayed conditionally. And so now, whenever someone goes to the Strapi UI, notice that anytime someone clicks on a type and they select a different type of content, either a question, either an answer, or a comment, the UI changes. And so the UI only displays the content that you want conditionally. And that it's so amazing. And I'm really, really excited for this feature. I hope you all play around with conditional fields. Keep giving us your feedback. It's important to us to make this better. So for me, this was the use case that I did. I also had another use case in another project. I built this custom plugin for the map, and I wanted to make that map show up conditionally because it's a pretty big map, right? And so like it takes a lot of the UI. So I was like, you know what? Why don't we make a toggle which will toggle the view of the map? And so, by the way, you could actually do this programmatically. So in my Strapi application, inside my schema for that collection, I have a show map Boolean. That was my toggle, right? And then I have my location custom field that I created. And that custom field, I wanted to display it conditionally. And so you're able to do it in code by adding a condition object. And we're going to say, similar like we did in the UI, we want our field to be visible when our show map, which is the toggle field that I have here above, is set to true. So that is pretty awesome. And so to me, like, I'm really excited that conditional fields were announced, but I was also even more excited. I'm always excited, right? Because one of the things that folks ask in Strapi is, hey, I need help modeling my content. Would it be nice if there was an easier way to take my website and quickly model my content in Strapi? Wouldn't it be awesome if there was a tool to help you? And that's where AI Architect comes in. And it's pretty awesome because it literally helps you create your content types within your Strapi dashboard. And I'm going to kind of share kind of my journey of, because I have a YouTube channel, I built a lot of applications. And sometimes what I find out, if I could iterate through things quickly, by the process of iteration and trying different things, I am able to think through my idea really rapidly because I'm able to prototype and build things fast. And part of the flow here is using that AI architect. So I want to share one of my basic flows that I like to do. And, you know, everybody likes vibe coding or hates vibe coding. However way you think about it, to me, I think people make tools that help us to be more productive and get things done faster. And so for me, I built a massive amount of projects, and not all projects make it to the final cut because a lot of times I want to explore and try things out. And sometimes the idea might not be the best idea, but how do you know? Build it first, put it in front of your users and let them try it. And so I love this thing. Instead of vibe coding, I call it proto-vibing or prototyping. And my flow, because I'm lazy, what I do, and this is where like some of these AI tools are really amazing. I literally create a diagram of the page layout that I want. And once I have that, once I think through it, I want to kind of be like, hey, listen, I want to see what would it look like in UI. And there's many awesome tools available, like Lovable. In this case, I went with V0 by Vercel. And literally all I did is I took that image that you saw before and I passed it to Vercel. It went ahead and generated a basic website of what that looks like. So now, like, I'm thinking, oh, this is what a website could look like. I'm getting some ideas, and I'm like, all right, now let me connect it to my backend and go ahead and kind of try it out. So once I had this project here in V0, you're able to export your project. And so what I did, I exported the project, and I went into my Strapi AI Architect, and I was able to import the whole file, and the project was able to, or Strapi AI was able to take my code base and figure out what collection types to create. And we'll look at a demo video that I did. I actually was playing with AI Architect and I broke something on my end, but luckily I have a video saved for you that I'm going to show. But once everything is done, you generate your content types and you could review them and change them as necessary. This whole flow, by the way, could take you 10 minutes, which is insane, because if you have an idea that you want to try by using V0 to create your front end, using Strapi as your backend API to manage all your content, because it's an amazing tool for that. And now you're able to quickly, based on your front end UI code, or you could even pass a picture of the diagrams that I showed before, generate your collection type. So you're able to move and iterate quickly. And the reason why this is important for you, like for me as well, why do you do this? And for me, a lot of times I find it that the hardest thing is to go from 0 to 1, like is to actually start. And sometimes you want to just get a little bit motivation or some kind of inspiration. And so I like the fact that I don't have to start from 0. I could have an idea and I could quickly, really fast, have something tangible that I could feel and look and play with. It also allows you to generate content types quickly, because you may be thinking through your content, right? And you could be like, hey, like, how do I represent my content in Strapi? Should it be a dynamic zone? Should it be a component, right? And so you can use Strapi AI to quickly generate your content types and talk through in chat through the types you generated and basically figure out what is the best approach. And the cool thing, because you're doing it quickly with the aid of the generation tool, you could iterate through 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different versions and kind of take a look which type of representation of your content makes sense, right? And what the cool part, once you generate all that stuff, you could edit it the normal traditional way, the way you do it in Strapi. So I was going to show an architect demo, and I did do something. And so instead, we're going to take a look at a video, which kind of shows like a very simple flow that I follow, that I do, that kind of is something I've been doing all the time. Because like I said, I am lazy and I like to go from 0 to like 50%, 40%, 60%, 70% as fast as possible. So for me, what I do is I love templates. I love Shetsy UI. There's a website called Shetsy UI blocks. And so I went here, I went to templates, and I was like, okay, let me look at what beautiful templates they have here. And so I found this landing page template that we have here. And literally, it's a free template available to you. So if you just want to build something fast, or you want to find a template that you want to integrate with Strapi really quickly, you just find one, right? There's plenty of websites. This one, it's absolutely free. So what I did, I went to their GitHub, and I, on their GitHub page, just downloaded the zip file for the code. That's it. I just took the zip file of the whole entire project and boom, downloaded it. Then I went into my Strapi application and I said, let's import a file from zip. And I went ahead and that file from GitHub that I downloaded, boom, I put it into the Strapi AI, and by magic, it created all the collection types. Not only did it create the collection types, it created the dynamic zones, components, and all the different items. And this is impressive because literally that video was 1 minute long. And that's literally exactly how long it took me, because this video was like in real time to go from that GitHub project and download the files and then boom, import it into Strapi. And so I am not starting from zero, and I'm able to quickly start on working on the project together. And if you're a freelancer, you're making small business websites and you're working a lot with templates, this is such a time saver. Literally, just find the template that you're using, go, boom, put it into Strapi AI and generate your collection types. So pretty awesome. You can check out, we have the private beta is open. So we're inviting everybody to test it out. So go ahead to strapi.io/AI and join the waiting list to get the demo. And thank you, Pierre, for sharing. Really awesome. Get the demo to try it out. For me, it's such a time saver because literally based on your front end, you're able to generate your content types, which is amazing. Like you don't have to start by like, how would I represent this? Boom, you generate it and then you go over it and then you're like, okay, this looks good. You either prompt it or manually add it. You have those both options. That's something that I love. And so amazing. And so now what we're going to do, we're going to move on because I want to make sure that we have plenty of time. We have cool presentations for all of you today. So starting with our community highlights. And before we bring on the next guest, let me quickly look at the chat here. And yeah, I love it. Definitely let us know what AI features you would like to see in Strapi. That would be really, really awesome. I'm also curious what AI front-end tools that you're using, Lovable, V0, Bolt.io. Let us know. Let us know your experience. Let us know how you're using it. It will be amazing. Yeah, that'll be pretty interesting. And all right, so now let's bring Jonathan on, talk about the page builder that he built. So Jonathan, you're here on the stage. I'm going to stop sharing my slides, and this way you could share yours.
Sure.
Okay. So let me go ahead. Stop here. Yes, and so you can go ahead and put in your slides. And before we start, Jonathan, can you give us a brief introduction, what you do, where you work, and what was your motivation for building this page builder?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Jonathan St. Jean. I'm from Montreal, Canada. I've been working with the major platforms, the major e-commerce platforms for going on 10 years. We all know the name. We'll keep the name out of the call. The major motivation for creating Page Builder has been the enpoopification of the major platforms. So what I mean by that, they were very developer focused for many, many, many years, and they exploded in size, and tons of merchants came on, and their primary driver, in my opinion, was developers. They have commissions for apps, they've got commissions for referrals, and they created a whole ecosystem around service and development for these platforms. And then they got everybody's money, and then they started stripping away features, and they started stripping away support. And then they iterate API changes with breaking changes on top of breaking changes on top of breaking changes, forcing us to go back to our clients and rebuild things that have already worked. So start looking for alternatives. Strapi is a major alternative, open source, highly personalizable, incredibly powerful schema, not so user-friendly for Janice in accounting, right? Janice in accounting in a small business firm is also the marketing lead, is also the web developer, and she's used to a drag and drop interface. Strapi's dynamic zones do a lot, but there's a visual disconnect between what you see in the dynamic zone in the Strapi admin versus what you have on your front end depending on how good your developer was, right? So trying to find a solution that brings Strapi and Strapi projects closer to par with some of the major platforms brought in Page Builder. So I'm just going to share my screen here a little bit. I'll drop some links in the chat afterwards, but Page Builder, website here, go sign up for free, get your free API key. I'm just going to scroll through it really quick, but you guys can go check that out on your own. Tons of documentation. Let's put the presentation back on.
Yeah, and Pierre shared the link to the plugin, so that's awesome, folks.
Absolutely.
Direct and check it out. Thanks, Pierre, as always.
And then we've got documentation and the website here, so let's drop that in there. Okay, and share our screen. Back presentation. Okay. So that's me. Like I mentioned, some points of friction. Every time you want to make a change to your schema, you have to redeploy if you're in production. You've got your disconnect between the data layout and the visual layout. And any changes that you want to see on your front end need to be committed to the database, whether in preview or in live, before you can see the changes as you're working. So it's enter some data, save it, go look at how it looks. Enter some data, save it, go take a look at the preview. So what we're trying to do here is make it a little bit easier. So this is a little video of what's going on, but we're going to see it live. So we're going to skip past this. And we're going to look at some of the benefits that Page Builder can bring. Your developer, from the developer experience, you can develop component schemas on the fly and see your preview live update with your connected data. Once the site is deployed, it allows less technical users to use Strapi content, drag and drop interface, quick lookup, and then you've got the developer will have already mapped the appropriate schema fields to the appropriate layout. And then we've got a template model allowing reuse of landing page layouts with dynamic data. So if you've got 15 products, you create one layout, connect the dynamic data to it, and then every time you're visiting a product page, you've got your dynamic product data on the same layout. So we're going to go through the quick start. When you guys take a look at the slide, you've got all the information here. It's also available in the documentation, but I'm going to go and do this live. So where's my share screen now? There we go. So I ran through this multiple times before today's call. Everything worked great, which means something is going to break today because that's how it always is, right? Let's see if we're lucky. So first thing we want to do is we want to bootstrap a Strapi CMS interface, and we're going to use the template. So I'm just dropping. I use PNPM. You can use NPM. You can use Yarn. And so we're installing your dependencies. Okay. And so now we've got our Strapi deployment here. Only other thing I'm going to do with this, we've got demo data available to us, right? And it's part of the package if you download it, it's optional, but we're going to run that. Sorry, that's the wrong one. It's demo prepare. And this is going to add some pre-made content, some pre-made templates and stuff like that for today's demo. And our CMS is ready to begin. So let's start that up. Now we're going to switch windows here. And share that. All right, let's sign ourselves up here with a super secure password.
Is it monkey 1 2 3 4 exclamation point? Just
no, it's test pass 1 2 3 exclamation point.
So close, so close.
Yeah, we were pretty close. So Strapi interface, you guys know it well. You'll notice we've got a new icon up here, page builder, but we'll get to that in a second. Before we can do anything with our setup, we need two things. Number one, we need an API token, and we need to set up our page builder API keys. So earlier when I said go to page builder, that's what I was talking about. You guys, I'm exposing my API key to all of you, but don't worry, I'll revoke it later. So I'm going to add my API key, save and test the connection. Cool, we're good. And I'm going to create an API key. Call it page builder. Make it unlimited. And we're going to make a custom token because we need collections, home pages, products. We also need uploads to get our images. We need our locales. We need our templates. And we've got a navigation plugin that we also need. So we're going to save that. And I've got my API token here. So let's change windows and go back to VS Code. I wish there was an easier way to swap rather than stop sharing, reshare, but whatever. Okay, so we're back in here. Let's split our console. And now we're going to set it, we're going to bootstrap an Next.js instance. Same idea as we did before. And now I've got my web folder here where we need a new environment file. In here, we need to add our Strapi API key that we just created. We need to add our page builder API key and save that. And we're going to come back to our demo here. So we've got our API token that we set up. We've got our page builder API key that's set up. So let's go over to page builder here. And we've now got our interface. So on the left here, we've got all the components that our developer created. And each one of these components is drag and drop. So I can change the order. I can drag a new one from the side, drop them in, and each one of these can be configured. So let's take a look at what that means. My first one here, as I change the title, we're seeing a preview live without having saved the data yet. So we can iterate, we can change, and Janice from accounting, who's also our webmaster, can see the changes live as she goes. We'll take a look at the data schema and how the developer experience about this in a moment. Right now, let's focus on the user experience. So right now, I'm pulling data from my Strapi page builder content. Inside that, if I click the little icon here, I've got some JSON data. And I'd like to use this data as part of my entry. So let's take a look at the title here, Strapi page builder. Using handlebars, we now have dynamic data. So if I were to use this template with multiple pages, if it has an entry called title, it'll dynamically enter that title for me. And that can be used across any level of depth in the JSON. When it comes to choosing images, we're connected directly into the Strapi media. So let's choose a new image for this. We're going to select that one. And we see a live change on here. We can change the order of our buttons here. When we look at our featured products, here I'm connected to different products. So I'm going to change. Oh, I chose a broken product apparently. Okay. But when we choose our products here, we see it live update. And these are connected directly to our product type. Down here, categories, same idea. My categories is a schema type in Strapi. and I can change and see it live update as I go. So far, so good. What about multi-language? So this site is built English and French. If you've got multiple locales built into your site, we'll see it right away. We're not going to save our changes. And I move over here, and I'm in French. So if I go to my live site here, or my live demo site, I have it in English, and I have it in French, and I'm seeing that reflected here. So if we take a look at the back end of how it works, we've got our content types here. So I've got my home page. Here's the content that I've got. I've got Strapi blocks, rich text editor, and it's got an assigned template here, homepage default. Within homepage default is all the schema as determined by the front-end developer who is choosing what product types, or sorry, what data types and what the layout looks like. So we're going to switch over in just a moment to VS Code and take a look at how that looks. You can see I've got my products, I've got my collections that we were playing with on the front end here. So let's change windows and move over to a code view. Share VS Code. Cool. So most of the development work is actually going to be done on the front end, right? The Strapi Page Builder plugin takes care of 99% of what you need to do on the back end, except for creating your schema types and your collections and however you want to structure your data. But on our front end here, if we go into our app, you can see on my page. My page is very simple. I've got a query that's going to get the CMS content from Strapi. And in there, I'm looking for the template and the remainder of the content. And then I'm passing the template and the content to the render function, which comes from Page Builder, right? And that's it for my front page. Very, very simple. I'm also giving it some Strapi config, which is my API keys and such, the URL for the API, the authentication token, and where we can find the images. The magic happens in the blocks. So let's take a look at our hero block. Most of the developer work and the integration is going to be done in the config. So in our config, we're going to define field names, field types. We've got a text heading, a text subheading. We have an image type here, which is an object that contains a media type and an alt text. We've got an array with call to action. And I've got a maximum of 2 items that I can add to this. And we've got some default information that we're providing. Lastly, it's got a render method, which calls the component itself. Our component, component client here. So we've got a client. We're using XJS. We've got client, use client, and use server. Our client component has the animations. When it's in view, it slides in. And then our component itself is where we're passing the data. So you may notice this little line here, Puck. Strapi Page Builder is built on an open source package called Puck Editor. Very, very cool. We forked that and we built on it a little bit. What we're getting here, the metadata, is the dynamic content from the page. So we looked at title earlier. By passing this to the process props, we're handling the handlebars integration and getting the final data into our heading here. So here's where my title would appear, my subtitle, etc. Then we've got our main config, which is the list of all of our components, their props, their configs, and how we categorize them. So I have a section called heroes, I have a section called features, and a section called testimonials. And then I've got my root level, which is where I drag and drop everything and contains my header and my footer. So simply, that's what we're looking at. I'm going to drop in now an additional block, which is my field example block. This is available on GitHub. I'm going to drop the link in chat in a moment, but I'm just going to add it to my list here so we can take a look at what we can do. Okay. Let's save that and switch windows. So we're back in here, and you can see I've now got my field example. So I'll scroll down. We're going to drop this near the bottom. There we go. So field example shows a bunch of different kind of fields that we can have. The simple text field, this is text. Text area, same thing, only bigger. Here we're using a rich text field, and this uses the new Strapi blocks layout for rich text. So I can select that. I can change the format. I can make it bold. I can make it in, right? What we're used to. Number field is exactly what we expect it to be. And then we've got some more specialized fields. So a slider field, right? You can use this to adjust the size, adjust padding. You can have a select field with the defined options. Radio field or a Boolean field. Scroll down, follow along. Color field when you're setting your background, setting text colors. Media field. Right now I've got this set to images, but it can also do video, right, and files. So you can set up a download link. The Strapi relation field is probably our most exciting. Right now we've got it set to product, and I'm just outputting the JSON here so we can see how we're getting the full content from the Strapi API. We have our array field where we can change the order. We can add items. Let's add a new item here. An object field, which is essentially a nested object, right? So in my object, I've got a text field, a number field, and a select field, and those work as exactly the same as they did above, only that they're nested within the object fields item. And lastly, custom field. So here, there's nothing exciting about the custom field I've built except that the coloring is done differently, right? So a custom field allows me to change the layout within the editor rather than within the output. So let's go back and take a look at some of these in VS Code, and then we're going to be running out of time soon, so I'm going to take some questions. So back in VS Code, let's go into our field example here and config. All right, so as we saw in the demo, we've got text field, text area, rich text. These are all quite simple. Number field has some additional parameters. We can set a minimum and maximum, slider, how much we're stepping by. Select field will set our options, and it's got the value and the label, which don't have to be the same. Radio field, right now I've got it set up as a Boolean, true or false, but it could be yes, no. It could be option 1 or option 2, however you like. Color field, media field, and here you can see I've got media type image, but if I change that, I can have all types, audio, file, image, or video. Strapi field type. Strapi type here, there's some additional context if we're trying to limit what we're populating, or if we've got a non-standard API that requires specific fields that we query on, we can do that. And in our, if I look at my hero component, sorry, my header component, I've actually got a good example of that with our menu. So the menu plugin here is plugin navigation. And because it has a non-standard API where I've got a render endpoint, I'm manually resolving how to pull the data out into Page Builder so that I can use it as part of my render. Now I'm flying through a lot of the details here, but everything is broken down step by step with details and examples in the documentation. So check it out, play around with it, build something cool.
Wow, that was amazing. I don't even want to know how long it took you to build it, but phenomenal. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, and if anybody has any questions, let us know. I saw one from Kevin. How does this work if you have multiple levels deep? relations? Are you populating all those levels deep, including all the properties?
Yeah, so great question, Kevin. I actually touched on that just a moment ago. You can determine how deep you want to populate. But we're using the defined defaults within Strapi on deep population, right? So normally we won't depopulate, but you can definitely, if you're targeting a specific field, you can set your populate level 1, 2, 3, 6, 12 to get the field that you're targeting into your front end.
Nice, awesome. And if anybody has any other questions, you could share a best way to contact you, stay in touch if people want to follow up. But that was amazing. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for that.
You're very welcome. Let me just drop my email in the chat here.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. So you can send me a message there. Download it on GitHub. Oh, I wanted to drop in the field examples. So the field examples that I was playing with at the end there, I've just dropped out in chat. You've got an example of every kind of field that's available, plus an example for a custom field. You can build out your own custom field. You can change how the data is used. Works with server-side rendering, works with client-side rendering. Check out the docs. I honestly think I spent more time on the documentation than on the development. That's how it always seems to be. Really tried to make it easy to read, easy to use, easy to understand. The best way to get a handle on it is to use the templates, bootstrap the templates, play with those before trying to go all out and build your own from zero, even though that's an option too if you're very adventurous.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that.
Happy to be here, Paul. Thanks for the time. Thanks, everyone. And Paul, I'll get you to kick me off the stage because I don't know how to read.
No worries. Thanks, Jonathan.
Take care.
And that was amazing. So now we're going to have our friends from Headlocker jump in. So let's have them join the stage. We have Kevin and Xander jumping in and joining us, which is really awesome. Glad to have you. So before we start, would love to have like a quick introduction to what it is that you do, but more importantly, who you are, what you do. So please introduce yourselves.
Xander.
Hey, hello. I'm Xander. I'm a developer working for Strapi. With Strapi for a couple of years now, and that's what we do.
Fun introduction, but okay, cool. My name is Kevin. I'm a developer based in the Netherlands, in the south of the Netherlands. I've been working with Strapi quite some time right now. We went to the Strapi Conf this year. I was very excited to be there, and it's such an honor to be here as well today. So thank you for the invite, Paul, by the way. We've been building quite some Strapi projects in the last years, and during those projects, we basically built some internal plugins, and Headlocker is one of them, which we want to show you today. And we opened it up for the community because we think it's a valuable asset for basically anyone that handles data in a backend. So yeah, that's a short introduction about us.
That's awesome. And like when you came up with the idea of Headlocker, like did you have like a lot of pain points, a lot of things that people were kind of asking for that you're like, oh, we definitely need to build this?
Yeah, you have some companies, right, that need to comply with some something like SOC 2 or ISO 27001. We initially built the plugin internally for a couple of clients, and basically we are always looking on the feedback board of Strapi, and I'm quite involved in the community as well on Discord and GitHub, Stack Overflow, whatever. So we were like, why not opening this up for the community so users can just make use of it? And the main pain point during building this plugin was essentially the login page of Strapi, how it's built in the core, because that's at the moment of speaking, it's one of the hardest thing to customize and to add things to. So that is one of the the little things that that took us quite a while to build. But we managed to do it. And one of the other point that is very important to notice is that it's fully plug and play. So that was very important to us because that's kind of the
no-code
way.
solution.
Yeah. We wanted it to be a no-code solution, like go with the flow, right? Like all the vibe coding stuff that's going on right now, and make it as easy as possible for developers as well as non-developers. So everyone can just configure the plugin, set it up in under 5 minutes. And that was a very important key aspect of this plugin.
Yeah.
And lastly, it had to be like natively like integrated into Strapi. So that was also very important. So we use all the core code, like the role-based access control, like the middlewares, like everything is just native code into Strapi. So it's exclusively built for Strapi, and for so that's quite special as well, I guess. So what it really is, it's just a 2FA plugin for Strapi. So what it does is it adds an extra layer of protection to your Strapi admin panel, and it can either be like SMS based OTPs. It can be the Google Authenticator or Authy apps. It can be email codes or backup codes. And later in the slides, I will show you a little bit on the roadmap what will come this year as well. Yeah, so I think the best way to show this is just do a demo.
Let's do it.
So let's close this up. So what you really normally would do, you just set up the Strapi project with a quick start, like Jonathan did in his last slides. I already did that for sake of time. So I set up the project. You get your license key from our website. So you just have to fill in a quick sign up form and you just get your license. And afterwards, you just run the command to install the plugin like you used to do with every plugin in Strapi. In this case, it's yarn at headlocker/headlocker. When you run that command, it does a couple of things.
Hey, Kevin, sorry to interrupt. I wasn't sure if you're going to share your screen, because if you are, you're not sharing it yet. Just wanted to call that out.
Thank you
for
that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I thought I was sharing. But...
Oh, it's okay.
Oh, I was not sharing. Okay.
All the other part was like pretty self-explanatory. So, but until like, yeah, here, perfect. Nice. Thank you so much.
Cool. Sorry about that. So basically you just set up the quick start of Strapi. Just copy the command. I already set it up for sake of this this call. And then you just add the plugin by running the command like this. It will install a couple of dependencies. It will, after you run yarn develop, it will run a couple of pre-flight checks. So do you have a valid license? Are all dependencies installed? And it will automatically generate the required envs for the plugin to work. So there's a lot of happening on the background. So when you've done that, you can just basically go to the browser, you log in, you'll see the famous dashboard, the new dashboard functionality of Strapi v5. And on the left-hand side, you'll see a new tab, which is Headlocker. So this is basically the dashboard of Headlocker. It does a couple of things. So I want to go through every block here, so to make sure it's clear to everyone. So on the left-hand side, you've got the security code block, and it's basically a representation of how secure your Strapi really is in terms of authentication, like 2FA. And each method within Headlocker has a specific impact score. So, for example, like SMS-based two-factor authentication has a lower score because it's prone to SIM swapping attacks and stuff. But like TOTP-based codes like Google Authenticator or Authy are very secure 2FA methods. So it's all calculated in the background throughout your process of configuring the plugin. On the second block, there's the people block, which is a coming soon feature. It's basically a feature for admins or DevOps, where they can manage all the people, have an overview of which user do have 2FA enabled, which one do have not, and have some specific actions, but it's still a work in progress, so I can't show anything about it yet. On the left bottom side, you just see the backup code. So every reliable 2FA system should have some kind of fallback method. So if you lose access to your device or your email or your phone, this is the last resort for you to log in to Strapi again without intervention of an admin of the actual server or the Strapi instance. And it allows you to use it as an authentication method. And you can also, in this block, you can basically just view your codes once more, but that is only possible if you have your backup codes encrypted and not hashed. By default, in Headlocker, the backup codes are hashed, and that's for sake of security, because it's the most secure way to hash it and not view it more than once. So you have to store them on your device or print them out with a printer or whatever, or store them in your 1Password of LastPass. But you can set it encrypted to view them more than once. And lastly, there is the activated MFA method section, which is basically this plugin, which is all about. So I wanted to set up an MFA method with Google Authenticator for this demo to see how easy it is to just enable it and see it live in action, if it works. So what you can just open up the screen. We paid quite some attention to like animation and stuff to make it.
You can also open it from the quick actions on the right.
Yep. We paid quite some attention to UX and design to have it as close as possible to the Strapi UI, because it's not built with the design system of Strapi. So you just press next, and in order to basically configure the method, you have to enter your password of your admin panel. And if you have existing methods enabled on your account, you will be challenged with one of those. So in this case, it's the backup codes. I'll got some here. You press in the backup code, and then you come on the screen to set it up. You just take your phone, take an authenticator app that you like. You scan the QR code, which I'm doing right now. And then basically just enter the 6-digit code to configure it. And that's really it. So right now, the Authenticator app option is enabled, which you can see here. And from this moment, when you log out and you log in again, if I remember it, I guess it's this, you will be presented with a model. And these are the methods that you have enabled for your account specifically. So in this case, I'm going for the Authenticator app, which I set up just now. So I enter the code from my Authenticator app, which is generated. I insert the code and I'm logged in. So this is exactly what Headlocker is about. It's this extra step before you actually being authorized to log into the backend. So yeah, this is what Headlocker is about. We have a couple more methods like email-based auth and SMS. It works the same way, but you have some options to choose from as a user or as an admin. Then from the top hand side, there's the little cog icon. You can press that, and we have very few settings, and that's very intentional because we want to be it as low code as possible. So right now there are two options for this license type, which I'm using, which is the individual license type. You do not have access to the content API, which I'm talking about very soon. But what you basically can do is just enable or disable the policy to show the 2FA challenges in the backend of Strapi in admin. So if you disable it, you won't be presented with the 2FA challenge, and you just log in as usual. You got some fun things like personalization. You can choose from a couple of avatars to make it your own. We got some little Easter eggs, if you want to call it that way, to have deep links into specific sections within Headlocker, which is quite cool if you'd ask me. We've got the product updates here. So yeah, that's basically what Headlocker is about. Since the last version, version 5, we also we also built the content API side. So it's for both the admin panel and the content API. So we don't have a quick start project yet, but it's in the make at the moment. So users can just pull it from GitHub very soon and play with it in the content API as well. So they can integrate it into their project, like a Next.js project, Remix project, a plain React project, whatever. And we provide the whole API docs and a Postman collection type to get up and running very fast. Yeah, so last thing is what you can do and configure basically inside Headlocker is the role-based access control. So as an admin or as a super admin, you can basically configure everything that's happening into Headlocker and allow or disallow certain actions for certain kind of roles. So everything is like granularly controlled. You can enable, for example, the creation of authenticators or disable email verification if you don't like that to be happening for a specific role. Everything can be controlled like you used to do for every plugin in Strapi. Yeah. So I guess that's really it about the plugin, at least. I don't know if you have something to tell, Xander.
Oh the thing that this is really nice about is that it just makes your data a lot more secure on the admin side of stuff, and you're way more protected, and it's just better for your projects and your clients to protect the data and to make it stay secure. So I think that's kind of about it.
Yeah, that's amazing. You did amazing work. And to me, like what I really like from just what you shared, what Jonathan shared, is this concept that Strapi is customizable and anyone could go ahead and create a cool plugin that does something amazing and share with the community like you did, like Jonathan did. And to me, that's like such an amazing power of like this whole Strapi ecosystem. And this is amazing. I just have one, like I have lots of questions, but I'll ask one just because you spent a lot of time developing this plugin. Is there any feedback for the Strapi team that you could give that could help them to make the plugin developer for developers like easier, or something that stood out that you wish maybe like we did a little bit different and made improvements? Because your feedback, and like we really appreciate it,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, for sure. Like one of the major roadblocks building this plugin was like injecting the popover into the logging screen and stuff, and to make it as clean as possible, right? So especially because of that feature right now, it's only supported by the Webpack build at the moment. So the Webpack build bundler, it's not supported with the Vite bundler yet. But if you have a bit of knowledge of the core code of Strapi, you know that the very, very low level blocks of Strapi contain like the provider's context block around the whole Strapi admin panel. And it would be very, very nice if it would be possible for developers to basically hook into that and add their own providers and add their own kind of components into that, and that would be very very nice. Not only for this plugin, but for basically every plugin that needs to do something with this, like add something to the Strapi UI. So we all know the injection blocks and stuff, but that's basically currently only for the content manager, right? So it allows you to inject some components at specific target points within Strapi for good reason. But it would be nice to have some of those in the locking screen, for example, as well, or other parts of the code.
Yeah, that's awesome feedback. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Our team is in the chat. They're listening. That's why I like asking questions to our guests, because it's like, yeah, let us know. What do we need to do? Let's put everybody, in the hot seat. But no, that's awesome. Really cool to see. And, from Jonathan's page builder, from what you build at Headlocker, I just love the fact, and even like earlier I showed an example of a custom field I used in my personal project for this map that I built. I just love the fact how customizable Strapi is via plugins or custom fields. It's literally your imagination is literally like the limit. So that's amazing. And so thanks so much for sharing that. If I know you shared the links in the chat where people could learn more about Headlocker, that's awesome. And so the last thing, I know we're going a little bit over, but I figured out what was wrong with my Strapi AI demo. So I want to quickly showcase it, just because I have skill issues. That was the issue. But now that my skill issues were resolved, I just want to give I'll spend really quick time here. So here's the content type builder in Strapi AI. And as you could see in the content type builder, we now have this a new pop-up here, including these buttons: import from Figma, import from your computer, or start with a prompt. And this opens up this chat modal, and you could literally type stuff in to ask what you want. Like, for instance, I want Strapi to tell me about all the different content types. But to me, the approach that I like to do, because I'm really lazy, and this is something that I showed in the video, is the fact that I just love finding different themes and different things. And this is kind of like what I shared earlier, but I want to show you in real time. For instance, if you take a look at templates, browse templates, and in my demo, I use this one. So I'm going to use a different one. I'll use this one. Literally, I feel like a thief, to be honest. I mean, that's why I love the fact people share open source projects that people could use for their own. So I'm just going to download the zip file. I think it's called Chancy UI landing page. Yes, perfect. So I'm going to go back in my Strapi, and I'm going to import from the computer, browse files. I know it's in the downloads. So I already demoed the first one in that video. I'm going to use this one. Click open, and it's going to go ahead, pull the code base. And when I click finish, Strapi will go ahead and analyze that project and basically go ahead and kind of create all the content type. And by the way, nothing is saved yet until I hit the save button. And once this is done, you could see that it created basic content for this website. And this website that I selected was much simpler than the other one. So it just created the basic layout, because I think that page that I showed was just a basic one pager. But this is pretty cool. And then in chat, you could ask follow-up questions and do additional things. For instance, I could say, I can't type under pressure. Can you create a home page, single type for my website? And boom, you just put it in. It's going to go ahead and think about it, think the best way to do it, and work on creating the homepage. And so the cool part here is that, and I think my internet is a little bit slow, but the cool part is that I love the fact that you're not starting from scratch, and you're able to work on stuff through using just English. And sometimes if you know exactly what you want, you could literally build the schema manually. I could say, okay, let me create a new thing. Let me add a new component, whatever, create a new page. But sometimes you just I already have the UI. Let me just import it into my app and see what Strapi does. And that is just a great way to kind of think through the things. And I just want to kind of showcase this quickly. I don't want to take everybody's time forever because I know we're running late, but definitely go ahead, join the waiting list because this is in beta testing. We really want to get everybody's feedback, everybody's kind of thoughts, and let us know. For instance, every time you have a chat generation, you could leave a response, say it's good, it's bad. Please give us as much feedback as possible because we want to make this as best as possible before release. So that was the last thing I wanted to share. And finally, if you want to chat with me and other community members in the open office hours, Monday through Friday, 12:30 p.m. CST time. So you could come in, ask questions, give us feedback. We'd love to hear any feedback that you give us, good, bad, not so good, not so bad. It will be awesome because our goal here at Strapi is to continue to make Strapi the best headless CMS possible that loved by developers and content managers. So that'll be really awesome. And the last thing we're going to do is really quickly, and I know we're over by 8 minutes, I apologize, but quick Q&A. And if we don't get to all the questions, or we're probably going to keep this brief, but just like Hannah mentioned, we genuinely want to hear your feedback. And very important for Strapi team, like if you have something, let us know because we want to make sure that we keep making improvements to everything that we do. Really, really awesome. So let us know if you have any questions. If not, while I will give you a few minutes to type them in the chat, I do want to thank Jonathan, Kevin, and Xander. It was awesome that you all were able to make it to Strapi Conf. I think that was such an amazing event. And to actually meet the people in person and to build these connections, that was really, really amazing.
Likewise, man. Yeah, thanks for this opportunity.
Yeah.
I do have one thing maybe as feedback, in addition to what I said just in a moment. Like Strapi is built with the styled components, right? So the design system, and it's really nice, by the way. But if for some reason a developer wants to build his plugin with his own kind of like styling library, will it be SCSS, Bootstrap, ChatCN, whatever? It's at the moment it's very hard to get that up and running without conflicting styles of Strapi, because when you check the loaded style sheets in the actual HTML page, which is loaded in the backend, you the specificity, like the press, how do you say that? The specificity of the style sheets, of the styled component style sheet, has the highest priority. And there are some like global styles applied to the paragraphs, the H1s, the buttons, and all this kind of stuff, which are conflicting if you, for example, use Bootstrap or Tailwind. That was one of the things I noted, and which I don't know if it's possible to do something about that, but yeah, that would be very, very nice as well.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think like for us, you know, and like from my experience, the idea is to have the design system just to have all the plugins have the consistency of Strapi and everybody share the code base. But if someone does want to use something custom, like 100%, like it would be nice if we could make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I totally get.
But like Remy says, it's definitely not something we want to encourage, to be honest. We'd like our design system to work for everyone, and so maybe like, and that's like and that's kind of like the thing with like building like projects that are used by a lot of people. It's like at some point, like we do have to like kind of pick a little stance and kind of be like, you know what, this is like what we're gonna do. But I totally understand that. For me, like, I totally see that point. We have so many people like, why can't we just use Tailwind? You know. Yeah,
like ChatCN.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
To me though, it's funny, like, because I remember when I first was like getting into coding a while back, I really fell in love with style components, and to me, like, I still have a special place in my heart. You know, even though it's pretty neat, but like people's and opinions change. Cool. Let's see if anyone has any other questions or anything else. I know we were going over, but Yeah, so we're thinking about how to, so Remy is pointing out, stock components not really maintained anymore. So we're thinking about how we could move our design system to some points. But yeah, really awesome feedback. And this is like why we do these like calls, and we want to hear them because, it's valuable feedback. And this is going to let our team to think about all the things that everybody said and prioritize and kind of make sense. But yeah.
I mean, for the most part, it is already so super nice that Strapi is so customizable, and so it is so easy to leverage Strapi in every way you want. You wanted to move it to as a developer. It's so extendable. So in a lot of ways, I mean, it is already so highly customizable. And this part is just a thing you come across when you want to do some custom design or some extra stuff. But for the most part, I mean, we love Strapi for being so customizable. So
I mean, to be honest, like the fact that it is so customizable, I mean, you have like workarounds, like you've done one, and I think that's still available to you, like, and so that's kind of like the thing that I like. You still have the ability to do the things the way you want, even if you have to find workarounds. And a lot of times, like, I hear folks talk about like different solutions, and they're like, oh, this is the best solution, there's nothing like wrong with it, it's like the one unicorn. And the fact is, that's not how things work. It's like you pick the best solution for your requirements that you have. And so everything that you use has trade-offs. And for me, like in my development that I do, like I literally start with something like Next.js or React Router 7, or Remix, whatever, when they could figure out what they're doing. And Strapi is my backend, because in my workflow, this allows me to build like 80-90% of the applications I build. And why change something that works so well for me? And the other thing, like anytime I need to do something custom on the backend, it's just amazing how you could just go into Strapi, add plugins, add controllers, services, policies. It's just so customizable from the backend. Like I don't really have the need to go and create something from scratch, because like I want to leverage the bajillion hours the Strapi team, kind of took to build Strapi, so I don't have to. And I like that feeling to know that, like, especially if you're a smaller team. But yeah, I know we went over like a lot, so I apologize for that. I'm coming back from vacation, so a little bit rusty on the streaming thing. But Jonathan, Kevin, Xander, everybody on the Strapi team, I want to do one quick like last call out. I hear Mark Bissell, Florent, they helped me to resolve my Strapi AI issue, like literally in real time while I was in the chat. So thank you so much for helping me with that. And thank you, Strapi team, with everything, for chatting in the chat, hang out, and everybody who joined. We love you. We appreciate you so much. And if you have any questions, concern, or just want to chat, stop by open office hours, 12:30 p.m. CST time. We'd love to have you there. Thanks a lot, everybody, and have a good rest of the day, evening, wherever you are.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.